Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing a video on choosing a hamster cage. So I know I did this video about a month ago, but that was just, I've watched it back and it's awful, so I'm going to redo this video. So please don't feel that when you walk in a pet shop you have to decide there and then what cage you want. Do some research first and see what cages are out there. There are loads of cages and most of them are easily available online rather than in pet shops. So have a look round and see what you can find. Don't just walk into Pets at Home or Jolly's or somewhere like that and decide that you're having a certain cage because it is the cheapest. So I know if you walk into Pets at Home, I think the cheapest cage you can get in there is like the Crysetti 15 or something like that. Not the Crysetti 15, the Crysetti 9? I don't know what it is, but anyway. So I know that a lot of people use that for hamsters just because it is the smallest cage. I've had that cage and it is absolutely tiny. I used it when I was a kid and you have not got enough room in there to put a wheel, a bed and a food bowl. That is literally the only thing you can fit in there. You do not have room to fit toys or anything in that, so please don't buy a hamster cage just because it's cheap. So if you are getting a Syrian hamster, you should at least have a cage which is 80 centimetres by 50 centimetres. If you are getting one dwarf hamster, the minimum size you should be looking for is the mini doona. That is the smallest size you should use for a dwarf hamster. If you are getting a pair of dwarf hamsters, then you should ideally be using a 80 by 50 centimetre cage with one level. So it should be like just the base with no added levels in, because of dwarf hamsters can become territorial and they can fight over shelves and stuff, so make sure that you don't have any added levels in there. So once you've decided the hamster, it should be fairly easy for you to decide what cage you want. So there are many cages available such as Hamster Heaven, the Alexander, the Zoo Zone 2, the Mamble cage. There are so many cages out there which are designed for rats, which are better suited to hamsters. So if you feel that you cannot afford to buy an expensive cage like the Hamster Heaven, so this is around £69 at the minute, and I know it is a lot to pay for a cage, and luckily for me I borrowed the money off my sister, but I know a lot of people can't do that. So if you want a really big cage but can't afford it, don't feel that you have to go out and buy a smaller cage. You can just go and make your own cage. So you can make a bin cage for around 20 quid and it would work out the same size as the Hamster Heaven, maybe even bigger. So there are cheaper alternatives out there. It just means that you have to put in a little bit more effort and make it yourself rather than just go and buy it from the shop. But at the end of the day, it is so rewarding when you make your own cage, because you look at it and you just think, I made that for my pet. And, you know, it's just one of them things that you can't help but feel happy about the way it turned out. So don't feel the need to be put off by the fact of the prices of cages, because if there are alternatives. I've known people to use rabbit hutches for cages. I've known people to turn bookshelves into cages. There are just some great ways to make cages out of old furniture rather than having to go out and actually buy a really expensive cage. So, yeah, basically the point of this video was to try and point out the minimum sizes for hamster cages. So for a Syrian hamster you should be looking at 80 by 50 centimetres. For a pair of dwarf hamsters, again it should be 80 by 50 centimetres. And for a pair, for a single dwarf hamster, people say that you should ideally have a 70 by 40 centimetre cage, but I have the mini doonas, which pretty much works out the same size as 70 by 40 centimetres once you've included the shelf. So yeah, my pets are happy in there anyway, and to be honest, Elmo and Speedy freak out when they're in big spaces, so I don't think I'll put them in a bigger cage anyway, but they love the mini doona. So yeah, basically this was just a video to point out the fact that hamsters, even though they're small, they need big cages. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that, which really annoys me, because I see so many videos a day on YouTube where people have got the hamsters in friggin' tiny cages, and it's just not very nice, and I get really wound up about it, and I know I shouldn't, because I know my pets are well cared for, but I just feel really bad for the pets which are being kept in those cages. So if you need any advice or any help with choosing hamster cages, then just let me know, because I'll try my best to help. It's like, if you do not have enough space to fit an 80 by 50 centimetre cage, there is an alternative, which is cages like the iMac, and I wouldn't ideally recommend that unless you absolutely had to get it because you were lacking in space, but it's an option, you know. My pets, they don't really like it, but some pets absolutely adore it. It just depends on what type of hamster you get and what temperament they have and stuff. So yeah, I hope this video was kind of informative about the cage sizes. I know I babbled, and I've got to stop doing that. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Bye for now.